Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabella. If it's your first time here, welcome and hello. Today is all about dry skin. I just did a video the other day on oily skin, so I figured now I would do one if you have dry skin and kind of help you out. So if you guys have dry skin and you need to learn some tips and tricks on how to help your dry skin, then just keep on watching. So the first thing I want to say is if you have really dry skin, it's super important that you're constantly taking care of your skin and moisturizing your skin, doing masks like face masks. I love face masks when my skin is super dry, so it's really helpful that you're constantly adding moisture to your skin. So what I like to do when I have dry skin is first obviously moisturize my skin. So I like to use the Olay Regenerist Micro Sculpting Cream. It's like a really nice moisturizer. And it smells so good. And it feels so good on your skin. Like, this stuff literally makes your skin super hydrated, one, and second, it makes your skin feel like it just drank a freaking huge glass of water. Like, I'm not even joking. It feels so nice. So after I moisturize my skin, I want to add an oil. And you want to make sure that you moisturize before you put an oil on, because oil can penetrate through a moisturizer, but a moisturizer can't really penetrate through oil. So I'm going to go in with my oil. This is the Rejuvenate oil, and this stuff is extremely hydrating for your dry skin. They have this one, and then if your skin is really oily, they have Rejuvenate Light. So your skin will be able to handle that a lot better than just the regular Rejuvenate. I love this smell. It's kind of like citrusy. My skin actually goes back and forth between dry and oily. Like, sometimes it doesn't know what it wants to do. So I usually have like combination of oily. Sometimes during the summer it gets really oily, and then during the winter it gets really dry. So that's why I kind of have like all these like little tips and tricks that I do. So now that our skin is like ultra hydrated, we're going to actually prime it now, and I'm going to be using the Lancome Perfecting Makeup Primer with like the smoothing effect. I like to use, when I have dry skin, a nice smoothing primer because I want my face to look even. I want everything to look really even and just balance out. And I like to put this all over my face. And I feel like, honestly, my skin looks so much better right now. Like, it just looks super hydrated, and it just looks really nice. Perfect. If you're like me and you have really large pores, then you can go in with another primer. This is the Porefessional by Benefit, and I'm just going to press this into my pores. I'm not going to rub or anything. I'm literally just going to press it. So now I feel like that was definitely a lot for a foundation routine, but it's worth it at the end of the day. It's worth it. It's important that you're really prepping and priming your face, especially when you have dry skin. So So I'm going to be mixing two foundations together. This is what I like to do. I also don't really have a lot of texture on my skin. I know people, when they have dry skin, some of them have like a lot of texture, and it's really hard to work with and it's hard to manage. So when you have dry skin, you want to use something with like a luminosity to it, something that's going to make your skin look super radiant, like a nice radiant finish. So this is funny that I'm using this. This is the Infallible Pro Glow, and this is amazing if you have dry textured skin. It has like the prettiest finish, but I think it's funny that I'm using this because I just did a video the other day for oily skin and I used the Pro Matte, but this stuff is bomb if you have dry skin. So I'm just going to put that all over my face. So now I'm just going to go in with a wet beauty blender, damp beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend that out. And I'm just going to bounce the beauty blender all over my skin. And another thing, this is just my personal opinion, I guess, but if you have really, really dry skin, I would definitely recommend using a beauty blender, because if you're using a brush, sometimes you're like kind of rubbing it into the skin, and that just like brings out your texture and it just is more prominent. Like, you just kind of want to lightly tap. Tapping is so much better when you have dry skin. Just tap it into your skin. I know, I feel like when you have dry skin, you kind of have to like work with it more than people who have oily skin, but the finish on this foundation, I just will not stop saying it, like, the finish on this foundation is so pretty. So for a concealer, you want a concealer that is really hydrating on your skin. This is just what I like to use. I like to use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. This is like a really, really hydrating concealer. Like, I have talked about this many times. The way it blends out is so nice. It's a little dark for me right now, so I'm going to mix another one. But it's just so creamy. And it's not super heavy either. So I like to do that. And then I like to take the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. And this is just to kind of brighten everything up a little bit. And I like to just put that right in there. Just pop it in the center. And then down the nose. And just a little bit up here. Like, I literally do the smallest amount up there because I don't like to set up there too much, because that's what gets dry for me. So then I'm just going to blend that out with my beauty blender. I recommend contouring with a cream. I definitely don't really recommend contouring with a powder, but I mean, we're gonna go in with a bronzer after. Obviously, you kind of have to, but like a really, really light hand will show you how we're gonna do that. But I'm gonna contour. Well, it's really high. So you want to contour with a cream, and you just want to use a really light hand blending it out. I'm actually going to use a beauty blender. I rarely do this, but when my skin is dry, I really try to. And this is just going to give you a little bit of added definition. It's nothing like too crazy, but it does give a little bit of definition. And then you want to make sure you're setting under your eyes, but like, I mean like extremely light amount of underneath your eyes. Like, that's it. Just, that's it. It's like really, really light because you don't want to get cakey and you don't want any texture showing. So you just really lightly want to set where you put your concealer. Because you can't have it moving around, but you don't want. So if you just use a light amount and just like gently tap it into the skin, you'll be okay. And you guys already know I'm using the RCMA. Now you want to bronze up your face a little bit. And I mean like lightly, like super lightly, just kind of like tap that. And like, just if you have like really, really dry skin, you just need to be careful with how you're applying. Because you don't want it to get like super flaky and dry and then just kind of like flake off. So you just want to make sure you're like pushing it more into the skin. So now for highlighter, you can take any highlighter you want. And I don't have any texture. I mean, if I do have texture, it's kind of like right here. That's like where my texture is. Or I have a little bit of texture on my chin area, so that's why I usually don't highlight down there. But if you have texture like over here somewhere, you want to find where it's smooth, and that's where you want to apply your highlighter. You want to make sure it's a nice smooth area with no texture on it, because that's just going to make it obviously stand out more. So now that I have everything all set in place, I'm going to make sure I set my face. So this is my finished look for dry skin. I hope that you found this really helpful and beneficial. It's also really beneficial for you if you do struggle with dry or oily skin to always try and keep learning new things and new tips and tricks that'll help you, what products are right for you, stuff like that. I know that it can be really discouraging if you don't know what to use or what to do if you have dry or oily skin. I know that I used to struggle with having really, really oily skin, and I didn't really know how to kind of control all the oil, but it definitely helps once you learn. So I hope that this video was a little helpful for you and I answered some of the questions that you guys had. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and obviously hanging out with me today. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!